Somewhere in the United States, animals are spreading through fields, rivers, forests, wetlands, and cities even though they were never supposed to be here. These invasive species arrived through human activity, escaped from farms or homes, were released intentionally, or traveled accidentally in ships, vehicles, and cargo. The Joro spider is one example. Native to East Asia, it was first confirmed in Georgia around 2014 and has since expanded into other states. Unlike many invaders, young Joro spiders can spread naturally by ballooning, releasing silk that carries them on the wind. Females can reach nearly 4 inches across and produce egg sacs containing hundreds of eggs. They are generally considered timid toward people, but their ability to tolerate colder conditions makes further expansion possible. The cane toad presents a different problem. It was introduced into Florida during the 1930s and 1940s to control sugarcane pests, but escaped and established itself throughout southern Florida. These large toads produce bufotoxin, a powerful poison located in glands behind their eyes. Dogs and other animals that bite or eat them can become seriously poisoned or die. Their eggs and tadpoles can also harm native predators. Cane toads reproduce in standing water and can produce enormous numbers of offspring. The northern snakehead is another invasive species capable of surviving in conditions that would kill many fish. Native to East Asia, it can breathe atmospheric air and survive for days outside water if it remains moist. It first attracted major attention in Maryland in 2002 after being discovered in a pond that officials poisoned to eliminate it. Later, breeding populations appeared in the Potomac River, and the species spread into additional states. Northern snakeheads can grow to around 3 feet and consume many smaller aquatic animals. They can also move across wet ground, allowing them to reach new waterways. The nutria demonstrates how an invasive species can damage an entire ecosystem without attracting much attention. This large South American rodent was introduced into Louisiana for the fur industry during the 1930s. After the fur market declined, animals escaped or were released and multiplied throughout coastal marshes. Nutria eat vegetation, including roots that help hold wetland soil together. Their feeding can turn stable marsh into open water, contributing to the loss of coastal wetlands. Louisiana eventually introduced bounty programs to remove hundreds of thousands of nutria each year, but controlling the population remains difficult because reproduction continues faster than complete eradication efforts. These 4 animals show different ways invasive species succeed: wind, poisonous defenses, unusual survival abilities, and enormous reproductive populations. Their common advantage is that they entered environments where native ecosystems had not evolved to deal with them. The lionfish shows how devastating an invasive species can become beneath the surface of the ocean. Native to the Indian and Pacific Oceans, lionfish appeared along the southeastern United States after being introduced, most likely through the aquarium trade. Their striking red and white bodies and long venomous spines make them difficult for native predators to attack. In the Atlantic, Caribbean, and Gulf of Mexico, lionfish found warm waters filled with prey that had little experience recognizing them as a threat. They consume numerous species of fish and can reproduce rapidly, with a single female capable of releasing huge numbers of eggs. Their expansion has affected reef communities by reducing populations of native prey fish and competing with native predators. Removing them is difficult because larger lionfish can retreat into deeper water where divers cannot easily reach them. The spotted lanternfly is a terrestrial invader that uses humans as transportation. It arrived in Pennsylvania in 2014, apparently through a shipment of stone, and its greatest advantage is not its flying ability but its ability to attach egg masses to almost anything. Egg masses can be placed on vehicles, pallets, trains, trucks, outdoor furniture, and other surfaces before being transported to new areas. Once established, lanternflies feed on plant sap, affecting trees, vines, fruit plants, and other vegetation. Their spread has forced authorities and residents to attempt repeated control efforts. The Burmese python represents one of the most serious invasive predators in the Florida Everglades. These enormous snakes, native to Southeast Asia, entered Florida through the exotic pet trade after animals escaped or were released. The Everglades provided abundant prey and suitable habitat, allowing the snakes to establish a large population. Their greatest advantage is concealment. A large python can remain motionless among vegetation and water, making detection extremely difficult. Studies have documented dramatic declines in several native mammal species in areas where pythons became established, including raccoons, opossums, and other prey animals. The result is not simply the presence of a new predator but the disappearance of animals that once occupied important parts of the ecosystem. Zebra mussels show another form of invasion. These small freshwater shellfish originated in Eastern Europe and reached North America through ballast water discharged from ocean-going ships. They were first detected near the Great Lakes in 1988 and rapidly expanded through connected waterways. A female can produce enormous numbers of eggs, and young mussels drift before attaching permanently to hard surfaces. Once established, they can cover pipes, water intake systems, docks, boats, and other infrastructure. They can accumulate in extremely high densities and interfere with water systems, power plants, and industrial equipment. Unlike a large predator, a zebra mussel may never be noticed by most people, yet millions can occupy hidden infrastructure. Their spread demonstrates that invasive species do not always destroy ecosystems through direct attacks. Sometimes their greatest impact comes from overwhelming the physical systems humans depend on. The European starling demonstrates how quickly a species can spread when even a small initial population is placed into a suitable environment. In 1890 and 1891, roughly 100 European starlings were released in New York City's Central Park by Eugene Schieffelin. Those birds became the ancestors of an enormous North American population. By the middle of the 20th century, starlings had spread across the continent, and today hundreds of millions occupy the United States and surrounding regions. Their success is partly hidden because they are now so common that people often stop noticing them. They occupy nest cavities and can compete aggressively with native birds such as bluebirds and woodpeckers. Large flocks can also damage crops and create agricultural problems. The emerald ash borer presents a quieter but equally destructive threat. This metallic green beetle originated in Asia and probably entered North America through wooden shipping material. It was identified near Detroit in 2002 and subsequently spread across many states. The adult beetle itself is not the primary source of damage. Its larvae tunnel underneath the bark of ash trees, disrupting the tissues that transport water and nutrients. Infested trees can appear healthy for years before suddenly declining. Because the beetle can travel with firewood, logs, and nursery material, human transportation has allowed it to move much farther than it could through natural flight alone. In heavily affected regions, enormous numbers of mature ash trees have died, threatening a tree genus that was once widespread across American forests. Invasive carp create a different kind of danger because they can overwhelm entire aquatic food webs. Several carp species from East Asia were introduced into the southern United States during the 1960s and 1970s for uses including algae control. Flooding eventually allowed them to escape into river systems connected to the Mississippi Basin. Silver and bighead carp can consume large amounts of food at the base of the aquatic food web, competing with native fish. In some river stretches, invasive carp have become an extremely large portion of the fish biomass. Silver carp are also famous for leaping from the water when disturbed by boats. Large fish can collide with people and equipment, making recreational boating dangerous. The concern extends toward the Great Lakes, leading authorities to construct major barriers designed to prevent the carp from moving farther north. The proposed defenses include combinations of electrical barriers, sound, bubbles, and other methods designed to discourage fish movement. Unlike many invasive species that spread quietly, invasive carp can sometimes be seen directly, making their expansion a visible warning of what may happen if they enter additional waterways. Together, starlings, emerald ash borers, and invasive carp demonstrate three different forms of ecological pressure: overwhelming numbers, destruction hidden inside living trees, and competition within entire. The red imported fire ant is another invasive species that has established itself across a huge portion of the southern United States. Originally from South America, it arrived in Alabama during the 1930s, likely through soil associated with shipping activity. From there it expanded across millions of acres. Its colonies are often built around mounds that look harmless, but disturbing a mound can trigger a coordinated defensive response. Large numbers of ants can swarm over a person or animal and sting repeatedly. This creates particular risks for children, pets, livestock, and people working outdoors. Fire ants have several methods of spreading. Queens can leave colonies during mating flights, colonies can move during flooding, and ants can also be transported accidentally in soil, nursery materials, vehicles, and other human cargo. Killing a single mound therefore does not eliminate the broader population because new colonies can quickly appear nearby. The final and most difficult species on the list is the feral hog. Millions of feral hogs now occupy numerous states, with especially large populations in Texas and other parts of the South. They descend from domestic pigs and introduced wild boar that escaped, were released, or became established in the wild over generations. Feral hogs are extremely adaptable and can survive in forests, grasslands, agricultural areas, wetlands, and other environments. Their feeding behavior causes major damage because they use their powerful snouts to root through soil while searching for food. This can destroy crops, disturb native vegetation, damage pastures, and alter habitats. They also foul water sources and can carry diseases that create problems for livestock and wildlife. Their economic impact is substantial, with agricultural losses reaching very large amounts in affected regions. What makes feral hogs especially difficult to control is their reproduction. Even when hunters, trappers, and government programs remove large numbers of animals, surviving hogs can reproduce quickly enough to rebuild populations. Control therefore requires continuous effort rather than a single eradication campaign. Helicopter hunting, trapping, shooting, and other methods can reduce numbers locally, but the animals remain widespread. The feral hog does not need to hide like the Burmese python, disguise itself like a harmless toad, or travel invisibly inside shipping containers. Its greatest advantage is simply its ability to survive and reproduce faster than humans can eliminate it. This makes the species a clear example of how population growth can defeat conventional control methods. When an invasive animal is capable of producing more individuals than people can consistently remove, the objective often changes from complete elimination to reducing damage and slowing expansion. These 13 invasive animals reveal a common pattern across the United States. They arrived through human actions, whether those actions involved trade, transportation, agriculture, the pet industry, biological control, shipping, or deliberate release. The Joro spider arrived from East Asia and expanded through ballooning and transportation. The cane toad was brought in to control agricultural pests but escaped that original purpose. The northern snakehead was introduced into waterways and proved capable of breathing air and moving across wet ground. Nutria were raised for fur before escaping into Louisiana's wetlands and damaging vegetation and soil. Lionfish likely entered coastal waters through the aquarium trade and found an ecosystem with few predators capable of controlling them. Spotted lanternflies use vehicles and cargo as transportation, turning roads and shipping networks into pathways for expansion. Burmese pythons established themselves in the Everglades after entering through the exotic pet trade and have consumed many native animals. Zebra mussels crossed oceans inside ship ballast water before spreading through freshwater systems. European starlings began with a tiny intentional release and eventually became one of the most abundant birds in North America. Emerald ash borers traveled through human movement of wood and killed enormous numbers of ash trees. Invasive carp escaped from controlled facilities during flooding and expanded through major river systems. Red imported fire ants arrived through shipping activity and spread through both natural reproduction and human transportation. Feral hogs developed from domestic pigs and wild boar and multiplied across huge areas. Each species found something it needed after arriving: suitable climate, abundant food, weak competition, large habitat, or an easy method of reproduction and transportation. The most important lesson is that invasive species do not all succeed in the same way. Some spread through the air. Some move through water. Some attach themselves to vehicles and cargo. Some are transported inside wood or soil. Others simply reproduce faster than people can control them. Their impacts are equally varied. They can poison pets, destroy wetlands, reduce native wildlife, clog water infrastructure, kill forests, damage crops, alter rivers, and create expensive long-term management problems. Once an invasive population becomes firmly established, removing every individual can become impossible. Control then becomes a continuous effort to reduce numbers and protect the most vulnerable ecosystems. These animals were not originally part of the environments they now occupy, but after establishing themselves, many became extremely difficult to remove. The pattern is a warning about how quickly human decisions can create ecological consequences that last for decades. A single release, escaped animal, contaminated shipment, or transported piece of material can become the starting point for a population that eventually spreads across states. The animals are different, but the underlying story remains the same. Humans opened the door, and once these species became established, closing it became far harder than anyone expected.